If you or someone you know is struggling with alcoholism or addiction, do not hesitate to reach out for help. You can find numerous free resources on our website, thebeginagainpodcast.com, and there are tons of resources and support networks available online, in person, or just a phone call away. You don't have to face this challenge alone. Welcome to the Begin Again podcast. I'm your host, Gary Menkes. On the Begin Again podcast, we delve into the inspiring journeys of individuals who have overcome alcoholism and addiction and emerged as true trailblazers in entrepreneurship, business, sports, and beyond. Through authentic, uplifting, and profound conversations with our guests, we aim to shatter the stigma surrounding addiction and demonstrate that recovery can be a catalyst for remarkable success, strength, and resilience. We firmly believe that by listening to these accounts, you will be empowered to unlock your own potential, instigate positive change in your life, and contribute to the creation of a better world. So, get ready to be inspired and embark on your own personal journey of growth with the Begin Again podcast. Welcome back to the Begin Again podcast. Gary Menkes here. Joining us today is a man I've been admiring since I started the Begin Again podcast. He is an author. He's the host of, I don't know how many podcasts, multiple podcasts, one of A Dose of Positivity with my buddy Jason LaChance, live every Monday at 1 p.m. on Instagram. He's the star of the TV series Intervention. He celebrated 18 years of sobriety on April 16th, and he's on a mission to help 1 million people overcome their addiction. Mike Diamond. Mike, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here, bud.
Dude, thanks for asking me to come on the show. That's good. Two sober dudes chatting. I love it.
Right? It's like my happy place, man, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. We were just talking offline, and I said, where are you from? And I said, he's in California. I'm in New York. Where are you from? And we started passing September 11th street cred. And let me tell you, he's got a Kodak moment, 13th Street with the towers hit right and back. And man, I haven't seen one of those, that authentic. And, you probably could sell that still this day, man.
Well, it's funny you said that. Like, the one thing coming from Australia, right?
Yeah.
It was like I left Australia. Well, I left my hometown Perth in 93.
Okay.
And I moved to Sydney. And, my thing was to acting. And so I was in Sydney and I was like, I've got to get to New York. I've got to get to New York somehow. And I was lucky enough to get a green card in the lottery. It was crazy. I took a job in a clothing store. This lady came in. I kind of bullshitted her into getting some clothes. And she said, you should enter the green card lottery. And I was like, I wasn't crazy drinking at the time, but I was getting fucked up. Yeah. Can I swear? Sorry, I didn't mean to say
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always that. Sorry. And I thought she was crazy, and I sent in the green card lottery ticket, and here I am. Like, I win this green card lottery ticket. But the crazy thing is this. I had no friends in America. So at 24, I had to change my life to start in America. So the dream is to go to New York, but I knew you don't just land in New York. So I thought, it was literally, I watched, I think it was a movie called The Birdcage.
Okay.
And it was South Beach. I said, I'll just land in South Beach. Did some internet searching. It wasn't a lot to look at. But like, it's cheap. So I landed there with nothing, like literally with a suitcase.
Yeah.
And I started to, I got a job. I was going to, I had a book back then and some cassettes. It'll lead into the story about the moment of looking, no Instagram. So I would drive right up and down the agencies, drop off my book, get some little sides, audition, like stand in a line with a bunch of other dudes.
Yeah.
It was the fall, so there was people from New York. And then I was working in a jewelry store trying to make money. And I got a little, rented a room from this crazy lady. And a guy came in off the street and he said, do you want to work in a nightclub? I said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's like, it's $250 a night. I was like, I'm not going to sell drugs. And he's like, no, you just stand there and open a VIP room. I thought he was bullshitting. I said, there's no fucking way. This is real. I had a suit. I went to it was called Bash, the nightclub. Bash. It was on Washington Avenue. And the guy's like, yeah, you look great. And I go, what do? He's like, you just stand at the door and open the rope if they're on the VIP list. I was like, this has got to be a scam. There's no way they're paying me. So after the shift, he gave me $250. I was like, you're real. He's like, yeah. So I had that job and getting up in the morning, going to auditions, doing music projects. And then what happened was there was this manager that loved me. He was I'm Greek, Italian, Middle Eastern, little Egyptian. He was Egyptian. He said, there's a famous club from New York called Chaos. They're on Watt Street in the next building, right, in Soho. The owners are going to love you. I'm like, what? He's like, I'll get you in with the owners to meet you. There's no way I thought I was getting a job. There's 1,000 people lined up, right? And I just, short hair, tattoos, had a nose ring at the time. And then they met me, 3 guys, David, Michael, and Tony. And they're like, what do you want to do? And I said, can I be frank with you? Like, yeah. And I'm like, I did VIP route. I don't know, work the exit. I don't want to work in a nightclub. They're like, what are you making down the street? I said, $250 a night. And I said, we'll give you that. I'm like, great. Opening night, I show up. And I always say, preparation meets opportunity is luck. Yep. Always prepared.
Yep.
So they come up to me and they're like, how do you feel about not working the VIP? So in myself, I got a little disappointed. So I thought, but I've got a job. Just suck it up. And I'm like, well, I appreciate the job. They're like, yeah, well, we want to let you run the front of the club. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, there's something about you. You're this actor dude. And I go, but I don't know anyone. They're like, that's the point. We want to mess with people. We want them to get to know you. So I'm like, I'm getting in New York.
Yeah.
So opening night, I played the character, played the role as a door guy. And I didn't understand the tipping game. So I didn't ever work for tips in Australia, right? So they're like trying to tip me to get in. I'm like, you can't. And they're like, see, can't even tip this guy. I didn't know the racket. I was just naive. So they thought I was like, you can't even pay this guy to get in.
They loved you, yeah.
They loved me.
Yeah.
So what happened is they said they were opening another place in New York. So it was like within 12 months, I said, okay, I got to get to New York. I'll save. And then I was lucky. What I did is there was some directors coming in. They were shooting something about Mary down there. And I got to know the directors. I got to know the producers.
Wow.
So I got in with them. And I was like, I'm the door guy. They got to get to know me. So during the day, I go to the set. I get to know people.
Yeah.
And then I got an audition with a guy called David Frankel for a TV show called The Grapevine on CBS. And they casted me.
The Grapevine on top of it, huh? That's
yeah. So then it was a remake of something. It aired in 1999, but it was in 1993. The original Buffy the Vampire was in it. Christy, someone. Christy, what was her name? Christy Swanson, was it? Or something?
Swanson, right. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. It was great. I was sitting next to her in the reading. So I was like, that's it. I'm going to New York. So I landed in New York.
Right.
Got a little place in the East Village. And then it was hustle. And and what I would do back then is it was hard to get an agent. So I was doing music projects. I would go and study people, watch films, do some drop-in classes, do music. And I would write everyone's name down. I would write people's names in books and I would figure out who they were connected to. There's no social media. And that's how I hustled. And I built a network from nothing. And calling people. I would call people back and I would connect stories. So I was in music projects. I was doing music projects. So I would go, oh, this producer worked on this album and this. And then I'd say, I'm in this band. I'm like, oh, I know your friend. I didn't know them. They're at this label. And then they would be dumb enough, the A&Rs, to say, we should have lunch. So if I got into the Sony building, what I would do is take the guy's business card and I would go to every floor and take everyone's business cards.
No shit.
Then I'd go back and call them and say, hey, we've got this event. Do you want to come to this party we're throwing? Oh, yeah, dude, I was hustling.
Man. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and I didn't know I just did it because we've got to remember, I came from Australia with nothing.
Right.
So I come from a small, tiny place in Australia called Perth. I was in Perth, but I was in a little city. And I was like, and that's how I I just kept building. And then I was there for September 11th.
You're there for September 11th. It's funny when you said, 13th Street, I immediately thought of the 14th Street workshop. I don't know if you were there to get sober, but it's funny about all the things
on the corner.
Yeah. And that was hardcore, those guys were serious. And for all the things New York City's got, Mike, my favorite thing is sobriety, is the sobriety there. And, back, like you said, no social media. I guess I had a cell phone, but also you get the pamphlet, right? And all I did my first year, man, was go to work. I barely hung on to my job. I'd go to work and I look in the pamphlet and see where am I going right after work. And I go to one, maybe two meetings a day, every day for a year. And, looking back, that was such a beautiful time.
Lifesaver.
It was everything. It's all I had, it was just, that's all I had to do. I thought everything else was over. I thought my life was over. I thought my career was probably over. I thought I was going to lose all my buddies. Like everything I thought was completely wrong, but it was a slow mind shift. But looking back, that's to be in that place where, yes, I could pay my rent. I did have a job. I wasn't making any money at all, but that's all I had to do was go to meetings. And I had some false starts too. Like I went to rehab in 2002 and my sobriety date's 2006. For those 4 years I was in and out. It was brutal. It was just pure, all the sayings, a belly full of booze and a mind full of sobriety AA. I mean, that's especially for this guy, talk about making things complicated. It was brutal, but this is the first time in my sobriety date that I ever put 90 days together. So I was never even put any real time, even that, the rehab I went to upstate New York. I got back and I don't even think I put, I did 30 days up there. I probably did maybe another month, but I was back off to the races. I wasn't ready, but at New York City's the sobriety there. And you mentioned something about Mary. I used to sit next to the star of that movie down in Soho. Some of those were seen, some of those meetings. And again, I was so naive. All I was doing was not drinking and going to meetings. That's all I was doing. And
But that works. It works sometimes.
It
You
does.
just shut up. I did 3 meetings a day. I just did breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I just went in and I just listened and I took commitments. And the one thing I always tell people is what I always say, rehab can be good or bad because it can fatten you up for another run.
Yeah.
I always, like my book, A Dose of Positivity, I always say dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Empowering dose, disempowering. Remove, and people say, environment, genetics. I said, remove all that. Yes, it's in the DNA. The gene is triggered by the environment of people, 100%. But remove that for a second. The same hustle, right, of me just that nature of me just hustling and coming to America with nothing.
Yeah.
I take that and all I do is make empowering choices. So a lot of addicts still carry around the shame, right? I don't feel ashamed because when I got sober, I just made amends to everyone.
Yeah.
I am now on a show. This is the craziest. 2004, 2005, I introduced Army James to a guy called Charlie Corwin, and they created Miami Yank. I got tattooed on the show. I was out of my mind. At the same time, I was shooting a pilot for VH1 with Scott Weiland from Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
I was doing 8 balls of cocaine out of my tits, right?
Right.
Threesomes, debauchery. Like literally in my book, I talk about I broke my ankle in a fight one night at the back of a club called Pink Elephant. The owner still remembers it. He goes, I remember you broke your ankle and I took some random girl home and I was going the next morning to shoot with Weiland. I looked down at my ankle and it was busted, broken. And I was like, line of cocaine, walk my dogs, take up the ankle, get to work.
Right.
Work hard, play hard, right? Out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I came from Australia playing rugby like as a 7-year-old. So the thing is, it's that wired like Wall Street, those guys used to hang out with, right? Killers. They're total killers. So when I got sober, first of all, we shot the pilot. They loved the pilot. I got sober. I didn't want to do the show. Now, someone should have done an intervention on me. Not one person said to me, you should stop drinking and doing coke, right? High performers. I stopped because Scott and I were partying and Scott's wife, Mary, was basically leaving with the kids. And I was like, dude, I don't have kids in that. I'm out.
Right.
Now it's 2023, a year ago. The guy that was supposed to do the original, my pilot, right?
Right.
They didn't want him to do my pilot for VH1. He calls me and he said, look, they're looking for a new interventionist on A&E. You want a shot? I said, yes. Nearly 20 years later, I get sober and are doing interventions on A&E because I'm a really good interventionist. I've been doing 15 years, where 20 years ago, someone should have done an intervention on me.
Oh, yeah.
Same guy. And he was supposed to do my pilot with me being a drunk. And now he calls me to be the interventionist on A&E.
So hold on, I gotta
yeah.
get this right. The numbers. So what year are you asked to go on intervention?
Last year, 2023.
So last year, so 15 years ago, the same guy.
Same guy.
How does
Well, longer, 20 years, because in 2004, 19 years, 2004, yeah, because it's 2024, 2004, 2005, yeah, 19. I said to him, I said to the production company, I really want him to be the director and producer. And he just didn't get along with them. And I'm like, we're friends, I love you. They didn't want you. He's like, it's cool. You're my guy. And now fast forward, he gets A&E and he's like, Diamond, they need a new interventionist. Are you down? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm down. Like, to think that's full circle, and to think now that there's celebrities that I used to do rails of cocaine with,
yeah,
and no one ever found out on social media because we'd hide. I would be like, I don't know. I never called Page Six. They're the same celebrities that either call me or I get their kids or I help them through.
Oh man!
And guess what? No one ever finds out.
Unbelievable.
I don't, because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a beautiful thing for everyone involved, though. But that's
full circle.
That's what I mean. That's the most full circles. But these are the stories we hear in these rooms, right? These full circle stories, man. Crazy. It's incredible. But so, holy cow. But, and
isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's beautiful. But it speaks to also about how you're helping these people and or their children. It's just, and you keep it all buttoned up. Like that's
oh yeah, I didn't say
that
anything.
Speaks to you. You know what I mean? That says everything about you too.
You know that the hardest thing for people to understand is like your natural inclination, right? So when you look at someone, there's a weird word for me where it says miracle. Like I came from a lot of abuse. My parents will never read my books. No one took responsibility. They said, we can't figure him out, right? Your authentic self, if you connect with your higher power and you live an authentic life and you've got the courage to follow your authentic self and your intuition, you won't drink and do drugs because you have the courage to say, because when you really think about it, if you're altering your mood, right, you're altering it because you're not accepting those feelings. And most of those feelings are based on me not afraid to be me.
Yeah, fear, right?
Right?
100%.
So I've got to play these characters to survive when I'm a little kid. That makes sense. You don't have tools.
Right.
Right? When you're a little kid and you go through abuse.
Yes.
What are you going to do? Sex, drugs, alcohol is safe. I get a return. I can't trust people. I can't be vulnerable. So I've got to alter my mood. But once you become an adult, and once you get a little older, and if you have the ability to sit alone and you say, look, this is destructive, it's killing me, right? I'm going to have the courage to admit, well, obviously it's not working because my head's in my car, my key's in my ass, right? My nerves are shot, right? I can't think straight. I'm always anxious, right? So when people say, well, you're worried about walking into a room, I say, no, it's a bunch of alcoholics. Or it's a bunch of crackheads. Like we're all caught. It's like going to jail and saying, I'm innocent. Dude, you're in jail.
Yeah.
Something happened. You know what I mean?
100%. I love what you're saying here. And I'm thinking about myself, right? And everything you just described, I can check those boxes. That was me. But I would add though, for me, I didn't realize that I was numbing all of that stuff. I didn't realize how full of fear I was, Mike, until I came in beaten and everything and I surrendered, and until I started working on myself. Like I thought I wasn't afraid of anything. Like I really did. And I started going to meetings. I was the only guy in there who didn't have an ego. Like all of it. I didn't realize until I started doing that work on myself. Now, yes, I have childhood traumatic stuff too. I saw stuff that I'm not supposed to see. I got whatever scared
Yeah.
shit. I'm saying whatever just because not to repeat myself too much here, but yeah, like I saw way too much stuff that a normal 9 and 10-year-old boys should be seeing. Right, started building this chip on my shoulder, like at a young age, right, and like I even say like that chip on my shoulder probably still there, and probably plenty of times it also served me well, right, in competitive environment or whatever it may be, right, and getting that job or they're getting raised, they're getting moved up, and I'm not. Like fuck them, yeah, I know I didn't I don't have a college degree and I'm surrounded by Ivy Leaguers, but fuck them still, right, and figure stuff out. But
Yeah.
but I didn't know this stuff, man. You're talking about fear. And now I'm going to be 50 years old in almost 2 months to the day, right? Like I could put fear
Nice.
on almost everything, dude. Like if I could be, and sometimes it's small stuff. I can be fearful, like, man, I hope, man, I hope Mike likes me. Like yeah, that's a thing of fear, and I say
Yeah.
like, God, give me the confidence to, just to be myself. And I say it all the time, like, dude, just whether it's here or at a business meeting, wherever it is, like, I get anxiety or whatever. And then at the end of right before, like, dude, just go be Gary, just be you, man. And who really,
Yeah.
it's like the subtle art of, who gives a fuck. It's really just go be you, man. Like you're a good dude. And I bring all this stuff up, right? Like we don't know this. And I know, I think you're friends with Brandon Novak. I don't know him, but he described, I don't know when he did, but I saw it on Instagram and it was so, telling and so truthful again for me. Like if it's a disease, right? And I totally believe we have a disease, right? We're sick at some point. We're sick. We got a disease, right? But if you have cancer or you have a broken ankle and you go to the doctor and say, hey man, you got this, you have to tape that up and you have to, whatever, you have to put a cast on it. Like, all right, tell me what to do. But alcoholics and addicts, you go in and say, the doctor tells you you're killing yourself, man. Like you can't drink and you can't do drugs anymore. We're going to be like, who the fuck are you? You don't know what you're talking about. And we're going to go out and try to prove that doctor wrong. That's what addicts do.
Yeah.
And
True.
it's amazing to me. That's the difference. And that you hear these things like, oh, whatever, not to talk about the podcast, but like, oh, you'll find your voice and whenever you find whatever that means. But, things have been coming in to my mind, but it's such a disease of the mind that really just pecks away at our souls. And the more we're in it, the worse it gets. Right. And that's
I
what
think that's
normal
what you
people can't
nailed. That's
understand.
why it's a daily reprieve. And
Right.
that's why people ask me, why do I get up at 3 a.m. and do all that work? And I was like, I can't work with people if I don't work on myself. See, most people, if you really, and I'll be honest, and here's the cold hard motherfucking fact.
Go for it. I can't wait.
Did not want to do interventions. I'm just really fucking good at them. I care for people genuinely, and it didn't start out like that. I wanted to be an actor. I still act, and I just went around. Look, my older brother was 8 years old when he went into a coma. I had to witness that. My little sister was 13 weeks premature. I went from her in the incubator to my older brother, having to walk and talk again. My dad worked hard. He didn't have any tools. Work hard at European. I would piss him off, unload on me. I was a state champion athlete, right? No one gave me credit. At 4 years old, my grandmother got me drunk. I nearly died of alcohol poisoning, and I was blamed for it. How can a 4-year-old control a grandmother, right?
Right.
So I faced and I'm undiagnosed dyslexic with ADHD. So they thought I wasn't trying, but I couldn't process. I just know. And I had all the stress. I was always in fight, flight, and freeze, right?
Yeah.
I had all that stuff going on in my mind and in my body. So when I really wanted to check out at like 16, I didn't. And my auntie, when I was 18, I was leaving home. I have a schizophrenic, bipolar schizophrenic cousin. I went to visit him and my auntie when I was leaving. And I'm the only one that could talk to him. And she's like, I don't know what you do with him. They were very wealthy. She had a $5-6 million apartment. And she's like, we'll give you the apartment. We'll give you everything. Can you live with your cousin? I said, I can't. Now, my dad wanted me to live with my brother, take care of my brother. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I need to move to Sydney. I'm going to America. But I had that ability because I was under so much stress as a young kid, to be so calm under chaos that I allow the other person, right? I can build rapport just through energy. They unwind and unravel and tell me their stuff.
Yeah.
I never had to try to do it. As I went through life, people would naturally, because I don't think of, I know active listening or connecting and just being conscious of the other person and asking questions. I just genuinely would say, how's your day going?
Right.
And they'd be like, it's the worst. I'm like, oh, do you want to talk about it? So naturally, I was a soundboard. And sometimes I would just sit there and people would unload on me. And I'm like, okay, do you need any advice? And they're like, well, I do. I'm like, well, from what you're telling me, maybe try this. I wasn't trying to be a therapist. I was just being therapeutic because I was giving them a safe place.
Yeah, man.
To connect, right? Now, I didn't know that was a natural skill that I learned because I dealt with 6 people as a young kid. That was the last thing I wanted to do. So when I got sober, I had an opportunity. I was doing stand-up comedy, and I got signed by Gersh, and I was at the Comedy Store. And I went to, the sober mentor, and he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I can't do this. He's like, why? I'm like, I love comedy. It's not my calling. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I've got to go out and help people. I've got to do interventions or something. So he literally hooked me up with this famous woman in LA. And I said, I'll go anywhere at any time. She's like, okay. And he was my reference. And I was kind of going on gut feeling. Like, I know I can figure this out. And she would just like send me to places.
Wow.
And just go, can you find this person? I'm like, I'll find them. And they're like, how? I'm like, don't worry about it. Tell me where the rehab is. I'll get them there. And I just fucking started Mariana Rivera, bottom of the ninth, closing them out. And I just was a closer. And I would put that, and I can't explain it. I just can't quit on people because I was around. I couldn't quit on my brother. So I just don't know. It's just there.
Yeah. And
like, I remember the first one of my, I did this crazy intervention where I got this guy and I was like, oh my God. And I called the woman and I said, and the acting school stuff came in and I was like, I've got an idea. She's like, what do you want to do? I said, just tell the rehab, let me stay with him. She's like, what do you want to do? And I said, I've just got one pair of clothes. I'll just go and lay on the detox floor for 5 days and coach him through it. She's like, what? And I spent 5 days on a detox floor. This. And I walked him into rehab. So I became the guy that would go to any length to coach someone, to the point that back in when I was writing The Dose of Positivity, I couldn't get an agent. I got an agent. No agent helped me get a book deal. I got a call to do this big detox with a very, very, very famous guy. And this woman who had worked with, she's like, Michael, do it. And they're like, this guy won't go to detox. And they called me and I said a pretty big price. And the family was calling me. And the dad was a very big litigator and like very famous litigator. And he said to me, I said, just get me on the plane. And he's like, okay. He's like, he won't go to detox. I was like, don't worry about that. I said, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm a litigator. I said, how good are you? I said, I'm one of the best in the world. I said, okay, I don't tell you how to litigate. He's like, right. I said, get me on the plane. I said, I'll prove to you how good I am. I said, I'll get him, I'll detox him. So what happened was, I didn't say anything. I said, his bags were packed. We're in a restaurant. I said, I don't give a fuck about your bags. Let's go and have a steak. I just landed here. You owe me a steak. He said, okay. We sat down and had a steak. I didn't say shit. We just ate. Just got along with him. All I need is one thing. I said, what is your son like? They said, baseball. I said, that's all I need to do. Let's talk baseball. I just find one thing in common. He goes to me, I need to leave the table. I said, no problem. I'm eating a steak. He's like, okay, when does the detox start? His dad texts me, he goes, what'd you say to my son? I said, I told you. Don't worry about that. I'll get him 10 days in a hotel room with him.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
10 days. And then it gets worse. He was supposed to walk into a rehab. The dad called me and said, can you check out the rehab? I checked it out. It wasn't the right rehab. I said, you're going to piss your money away. Honestly, I'll be straight with you. I thought my ego's like, fuck this. Get your agent to sell your book. You just finished your second book. I'm like, I can't. I got to just do it. I got to help this guy. I had to live in DC with him, right? My wife was going to kill me. I had to fly to DC. I said, I'll fly to DC and live with your son if you give me Halloween off. It was around Halloween. If you give me my son's birthday, which is Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I didn't tell her. I was in Houston, and she's watching my location. She goes, why are you in DC? Aren't you coming home? I said, I'll see you on Halloween. She was pissed. But I saved his life. He stayed sober, and he got engaged. And his dad, he even said, he's like, I don't know how. Like, I'll send you a letter, but we can't put on the podcast. They're like, what? And I'm like, I just know how. I've just been under that stress for so long that if I go in, and that's why this work, I don't fail, because it's like a method actor. I know how to go and it's just, I've just been exposed to too much pain and violence. And I've had mafia guys pull guns on me at the clubs. I had Albanian mobsters trying to kill me back in New York because I wouldn't let him in. So when you're exposed to that much violence, I had the Albanian, like literally like the movie Taken, Albanian mobsters trying to kill me in New York back in 2001.
Man.
Yeah.
Mike, when did it hit you, or when did you realize that, you do have this gift and you can, there's part of it is outlasting, I guess, a little bit, but even to be there, and you're telling me the story, and I'm keep asking myself, how does he know? Like, how do you know?
I knew it at about 7.
You knew it that young.
I had this I'm dyslexic, but I'm like, I can see patterns. Like my intuition's really good.
Yeah.
I was born with really good intuition. That's how I survived such a bad environment being dyslexic. I know people. I can just know. I can feel what they need. I just knew it as a young kid. I could tap into that. It's probably a little bit of an empath. I don't have to try to be kind. I'm a kind person. My neighbor has kidney disease. I take her to dialysis. My other neighbor had a stroke. When she needs a walk, I'll walk her. My other neighbor had a stroke. I would walk him around the block. There was another kid that was autistic. I would check in him all day. My other neighbor had cancer. I'd go and check in with her. I was doing that as a kid.
Wow.
My son has that. Like, I don't.
He does, huh?
And I wasn't around. Yeah, but I wasn't around that. I wasn't around people that were of service. I guess because I was around so much pain, you state that, you could say spiritually you choose your parents. I was put in that environment because I'm so positive. I could always, like, my favorite book is Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah.
Because I could relate to him turning such obstacles into opportunities. He could always find this beautiful reason to be grateful. Like, at least and I could always find this thing to be useful. How do I be useful? And it didn't come from, no one taught me it. I didn't read a Tony Robbins book as a kid. I didn't have mentors. I could just look at someone's life. And it was very simplistic in the sense of, I'm going to America. And they're like, how? And I'm like, well, they speak English. I speak English. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, I'll get a job. I'll save money. They're like, but what do you mean? I'm like, you just land there. And they're like, how can, and I always had the ability to believe in myself.
Yeah.
Like how I got my first acting agent in Perth was there was a cutout in the paper. And I'd only done a play when I was 12 years old, got discovered to do this play, and I did it. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to this open call. Called the bus. It was like an hour or 2 hours, and I got the address. I looked up, and there's a line down the street. I was like, all right, I'll stand in line. I don't know, stand in line long enough to get to the front, and they call me up. They're like, can you act? I was like, yeah. No clue what I'm doing. And I was dressed for the part, and I'm sitting there, this beautiful girl. I was 16, and I lied. You had to be 18. I was like, I'll just forge a signature. I'm used to doing that. There's no ID. How are they going to check it? And we read, and I was just connected to it. And the guy was putting me on camera. He's like, we're going to sign you. I said, sign me? So he goes, go in the other room. So I go in the other room, and he's like, that was fantastic. And I was like, okay. He's like, was about 5'9". He's like, you're a little short to do like runway modeling, but you look great on camera. We'll put you in the acting division, but we'll get you print work. I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, we're going to shoot some photos. I'm instantly like, I can't do this. I got no money. So I'm like, I don't have any money. I was working at a grocery store, packing groceries. He's like, oh no, you don't pay for the photos. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, we'll pay for the photos and we'll take commission out once you book a job. I'm in my head going, I get free photos. I'm not going to book a job. What is he talking about? I'm not going to get a job. Right. I catch the bus all the way home. My dad goes, there's a message. And I go, oh, what for? And he's like, I don't know, the agency. They're like, oh, can you come in tomorrow and shoot some photos? I was like, what? Yeah. I got to take off school. So I catch the bus the next day, I take these shots. There's no way I think the phone's going to ring. 3 days later, he goes, hey, there's a casting. I'm like, what's a casting? He goes, it's an audition. I was like, oh. He's like, do what you did. It's for a TV commercial. They loved your photos. And we showed them that little VHS tape of your like on camera. So I show up to another casting. People down the street, I don't know. I did the casting. I get back on the bus. You don't have a cell phone. My dad goes, oh, you must have messed up. I go, what happened? He goes, the agency called. I was like, oh. So I get the phone. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, why are you sorry? And they're like, you got a call back. I was like, what mistakes did I make? Because when I got called back, you went to the principal's office. And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, what's a callback? He's like, they love you. I'm like, why would they call me back when they give me the job? He's like, it doesn't work like that, kid. So I go to the callback. It's a true story. I go to the callback.
Oh, good.
And I leave. And then by the time it's an hour bus home, they call again. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, why would they call me back again? They're like, because they really like you. I was like, wait, I am confused here.
Right.
What does it mean? Like, the more they like you, the more you go back. And then hopefully you land a job. I'm like, oh my God. I land the job. It's a national TV commercial, right? I'm like, this is it. I go to rehearsals. It doesn't air. I was like, oh, right? But I get paid. I keep my check.
Oh, good.
That was the carrot.
Yeah.
I get another commercial. I get paid, and it doesn't air.
Again.
Listen to this. But I'm like, the universe is telling me something. I'm good at this. And that's what I would always do. Like, I would go on these crazy adventures where, I'm just going to take it. How I got my book deal, true story. My agent didn't do anything. I did a meditation, and I'd heard of a guy called Bill Gladstone, and I didn't prepare much for an email. I said, I have a great book proposal. I have a book. My name's Mike Diamond. You're doing yourself an injustice if you don't read my proposal and book. I know who you represent. You represent Eckhart Tolle. It says on your website, you don't take submissions. Read my stuff. Have a great day, Mike Diamond. Checks the email. Calls me. He goes, I got to ask you a question. I said, what? He goes, how did you know I would check the email? I said, because you said don't send me an email. That means you don't have many emails in the inbox. He goes, ooh, you're crafty.
You're good.
He goes, I'm going to read the proposal. Reads the proposal. He goes, I love it. I'm going to read the book with my team. And he goes, do you have any publishers in mind? And I gave him a list of publishers. Calls me back 2 days later. Goes, I'll do a deal with you because I think I can get you a book deal. I said, okay. He said, I'll shop the book, right? And I've still got another agent that didn't do anything. So I call the other agent and I said, hey, are you cool if I try and get myself a book deal? He said, yeah, I think you're too pushy. I said, yeah, but there's no conflict of interest, right? He goes, no, we'll represent you for TV. Delivery side done. Yeah. I got a book deal. Call the guy back. I go, guess what? Pushy's good, right? He goes, how'd you pull it off? I said, none of your business.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you. I got to ask you this because, like I said, I think before, either at the beginning or off camera, I'm a positive guy too. Like I'm forward. Like we talked about it. I think off camera at the beginning, like there's no need to sit in the past, right? Like you got to move forward. I'm grateful that's how I'm wired. But caveat coming, I don't necessarily every single day wake up that way. And I need to like get there. I will wake up full of fear. My question to you, are you on this plane, man? Like where like
positive is a practice. I do not wake up wanting to get up. And I'll tell you why. Human motivation is simple. Avoid pain, gain pleasure. I do not want to get up. When people say they're unmotivated, I'm like, it's bullshit. I'll tell you why. Motivation's a lie. If for anyone listening, right, they say that the 1% earns over 400 grand a year. If everyone on the call right now, I said, all right, you earn 400 grand a year, I'll pay you 4 million a year, 10 times. Everyone right now is going to be like, I want $4 million. They get the reward, they get a spike of dopamine. It feels good, right? That's why we're always chasing the fucking dopamine. Yeah. We're addicted to everything. Tomorrow morning, what's going to happen is you're going to lay in bed and the alarm's going to go off. And if I'm paying you the 4 million, to say, like you're going to a job, you have to get up at 4 a.m. You're motivated when you get the spike of dopamine. The spike of dopamine can't last. Motivation's a lie. When you're laying in bed and the alarm goes off, the first thing you're going to say is, I don't feel like getting up. Why would you get up out of a warm bed?
Nice.
You're not unmotivated. You're motivated to stay comfortable.
Yeah.
Human behavior. We are comfortable. We are comfortably numb. We watch Netflix, right? We sit on the couch. It's comfortable. Yeah. Gravity pulls our ass down. We have to launch ourselves up. I know in the morning I'm going to feel like shit. I move before I feel. Movement is medicine, right? So I just move. I don't worry about how I feel. I know I'm going to feel like crap. It's 3 a.m. I want to sleep to 8 like most normal human beings, but I don't do that because you know why? I associate massive pain and regret and loss for not following through because I know this could be my last day. Nothing's guaranteed, right? So I get up, I move. My body now knows to move when I get up. I wash my face with freezing cold water. Why? It wakes me up. Then I drink 20 or 30 ounces of water. When I start journaling, I don't feel good. I feel like shit. I feed my cat at 3 a.m. She's outside. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. But I know when I keep moving, I move myself into feeling good. Yeah. So to me, being positive is a practice. Now, the one thing I do that changes my life is I stretch my body. If I stretch my body, deeply stretch my body in the morning, I feel good. That's when I feel good. Then I do some breath work. After my breath work, I'm like, see, I didn't want to get up at 3. The other day, because I journal, I went 120 something days feeling like shit every morning and did what I was supposed to do. And I had one day that I felt good. I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like incredible today. So I thought, see, if I get 2 days a year where I feel good and the rest, I do it no matter how I feel because successful people do the work no matter how they feel. Yep. Unsuccessful people look to feel good, feel right, and the right time. I have an edge over the competition because everyone's looking to feel good. I do the work and then I feel good. So I trick myself.
Right. Never feel hacks on yourself constantly.
Dude, brother, I said to someone the other day, I said, don't get it fooled. Right? I've done crazy shit. Like crazy shit. I've had threesomes, massive amounts of cocaine. If I could sit on the couch all day, do copious amounts of cocaine, hang out with hot girls, eat pizza, right? And just live in Satan's paradise and feel good, I'd do it. I did it. It's horrible. It's really disempowering. Yeah. Right? I've been there. That's why I tell people, I've done it. Trust me. I did it with the best in the world. Right? It's really bad. Don't do it. Don't do the drugs. I did them all for you. I'm telling you, right? It's like if someone gets kicked in the balls, you see me in pain, you're like, I shouldn't do that, right? No, it's a ball kick. You don't want to experience that. So I don't lie. If I could get away with it, I do it. Yeah. I can't.
Yeah, someone asked
me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Someone asked me recently, like, don't you miss it? And don't you miss? I was like, first of all, no. Everything has changed. And I said, but I'm also human, right? And I'm a sick human at that point. As far as that goes. But I said, listen, there's times where I'll have this, this little vision of an alternate universe that if I can step over here and go spend maybe a few days and go off and just do some of the things that you're describing, and I can come right back and have zero guilt and feel great. Like that sounds, I would consider doing that, but guess what? That's not reality. Like that doesn't happen.
And you know what I said to someone the other day, a friend of mine, I said, here's a real simple thing, right? You're triggered. When you're triggered, you feel. I feel triggered. I feel angry. Whatever it is, right? Something triggers you. A person says something from the past. You're in the present moment. Information comes in. Something triggers you. If you could sit in the trigger and feel the feeling and breathe diaphragmatically, the trigger is not fired and it doesn't become an emotion. So you don't charge the emotion, feeling into emotion, right? Then you don't get caught up in fight, flight, freeze, or feed, right? You're dysregulated. So what do you want to do? You want to alter the dysregulation, right? So the thing that you go for, which is safe, because there's things that are out there that are trustworthy. Guaranteed sex, guaranteed sugar, guaranteed cocaine. The relationship is guaranteed. Even anger is a guarantee. You see people that are rageaholics.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel, so I'm going to fuck someone up because I'm guaranteed to alter my mood. I'm guaranteed if I hit you, better out than in, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's better in, then you push it out. So when you start to know how to regulate your sympathetic nervous system and you're like, I am triggered, and you start to gain some awareness going, okay, I could do cocaine, but what's really the issue? I don't like what that person said, right? You get a little mature, right? Well, what did they say? Well, what was it really? It was their tone. Well, what was their tone really? Well, it's the way they spoke to me. Well, how'd they speak to me? Well, they spoke to me in a condescending way. Okay, so why? What was it with the tone? What is it really? Well, you know what? It's my fucking second grade teacher and my dad. Right. He used to be really condescending, and so did my dad. Okay, so literally, you're taking your past, the way your dad spoke to you back in how long ago when your second grade teacher, and then this person has the same tone. So what I do is when I'm triggered, it's a lesson. What is it? That's my dad. That guy's my dad. That guy's my second grade teacher. Yeah. Oh, that's my ex-girlfriend. Oh, that's the kid that used to bully me. So now I'm like curious of the trigger. I'm like, that's interesting. Nothing external can affect me if I spend time with myself internally. So I tell people the reason I meditate, right? Because if you do the work in the dark, you shine in the bright lights. If you don't do the work in the dark, right, you get exposed in the bright lights when the game starts, right? The stage don't lie. So if I can spend time with myself, by myself, right? And I just breathe and meditate and I watch the breath and I watch the thoughts. And then I create a gap, right? Between the thought and the stimulus. And I'm like, no, settle down. Settle down. I'm ruminating, come back. Then in life, when something comes in, I'm used to going, no, settle down. Yeah. No, settle down, right? But if you're not doing that practice when you first wake up and you're scrolling on your phone or you're just reacting to emails and you're allowing the environment to take control, then guess what? You're a puppet being pulled. I would, pull my own strings. I don't want the world to pull my strings.
I love that. So, listen, you're helping me right now without even knowing it, because you brought it to my attention, which I was, that's why I said thank you. Is, I beat myself up for it, Mike. Like, I've been sober, like I said, 18 years. I had a widowmaker heart attack almost 5 years ago, right? And I'm like, I went through this depression almost afterwards, maybe not almost, but afterwards. It was like, dude, like, you were on the fucking brink. Like, you should just be the rest of your life walking through on this kind of pink cloud, like, because you're playing with house money every single day. And I really upset myself when I'm back to my old, I do it. I start my day every day on my knees in prayer, and it's all I have my own set of prayers. It's built around gratitude. It's, and some of them the same prayers I started 18 years ago. Please give me the gift of sobriety today. Like, I just, that one has stayed with me. I still use that. And my meditation practice is like a roller coaster. Sometimes, like, I'm on a good run and then I get off track and I can't get back into my, what I had going. But my point is, I'll start sometimes in really good, I start in prayer, right? And some days I'll meditate, but then I'll get on the subway and there's not enough fucking people in the room. Like, get the fuck out of my way. And I'm like, Gary, what happened to that? Like, that Zen kind of like everything's all right, place you were in an hour ago. And I beat myself up for it,
Don't
so
do that.
I, and I love what you said. And sorry, I do this all
No,
the time. Like, Mike, I'm like, what the fuck is really bothering me right now? Like, what is it? I don't know what it is. And I really start, to dig what, and you're telling me triggers, what just triggered me, and you're bringing up it's so silly, but it's so me. If you know me too, like I was on the beach 2 summers ago with my son was 7 at the time, and he's throwing, French fries, and the seagulls are coming. This fucking guy came over. He's like, "Hey man, your son can't throw French fries." And I was like, I wanted to tell him to get the fuck away, and I couldn't. I was like, all right, like beat it, but just I get it. And so I was on vacation last week, Mike, and I'm on the beach, and I'm thinking about this guy, and I'm like, why am I thinking about this guy 2 summers ago when I'm sitting here like in a good place with my family swimming? Like, what's wrong with me?
So good, so good. But here's a trick. Here's a trick for meditation. Okay, don't look. This is what people don't teach people. The sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, and freeze, is designed to protect us.
Okay.
And I always say this: if you're in a physical fight, like if I'm in a fight as a boxer,
Yeah.
it's not. People get a bit desensitized. It's a fucking fight. It's not a pillow fight. You die.
Yeah.
If you make it through the rounds, and you go from fighting, and you sit in the corner, the first thing the corner man says is breathe. You see them.
Yeah.
By breathing diaphragmatically, the technical thing is your brain is going from fight, flight, and freeze in the limbic system, sympathetic nervous system. You want to breathe diaphragmatically. By breathing diaphragmatically, you go into the prefrontal cortex where you think rationally.
Mm.
We can be hijacked by our emotions because the primitive part of the brain is designed to protect us, survival, right?
Yeah.
So when we're driving down the highway and someone cuts us off, it triggers the sympathetic nervous system and we get a shock.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, people don't know how to breathe diaphragmatically and regulate the sympathetic nervous system. So they chase the person 19 exits, road rage.
Yeah.
Then they go to work and the rest of their day is fucked because they're still wound in the sympathetic nervous system. So I always say, if you look at a lioness and a zebra on the Serengeti, it's life or death. And let's just say they're both on lunch break. Zebra's eating grass. The lion wants the zebra. The zebra smells the lioness and says, "I get the fuck out of here because I'm on the buffet," and bails. If it's a feel-good Nat Geo and, David Attenborough goes, "And this time, fortunately for the zebra, she got away." Right?
Very excellent. Well done.
Right?
Yeah.
So it gets away, right? And now the zebra will go into rest and digest. So he calms down, right? And starts to naturally breathe diaphragmatically or shakes off that. And the lioness can't run all day, so she calms down. Now, the one thing that the zebra and the lioness don't do that we do as humans, because they don't have a developed prefrontal cortex, is they don't ruminate on it. The zebra doesn't say then go, "Fucking lionesses chasing me all day. These motherfuckers, when they give me a break," right? And the zebra and the lioness is like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck you."
Yeah.
So they use their sympathetic nervous system correctly. So there's nothing wrong with anger. For example, I was driving down. I was walking my dog, a year ago when he was alive, big bull terrier, and I watched these cars zooming around, and this woman jumped out of her car and said, "You need to help me." I was like, "Oh, shit, of course I'm going to help you." Instantly, I'm in attack mode. I got my 80-pound bull terrier. I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "That guy's chasing me." I said, "It's game on."
Uh-huh.
I've been in hundreds of street fights in New York. I got an 80-pound bull terrier. It's game on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm smart enough to know if he's got a gun or whatever, the dog's going to take him out, but it's going to be ugly. I run up to his car, right? And my dog is trying to jump in the car.
Yeah.
And this guy's just sitting there. He's frozen. His sympathetic nervous system is panic.
Right.
He went from fight mode chasing the lady. It's an alarm bell. We were a 5-minute standoff. Now, I'm ready to kill this guy. If he gets out, it's on. You can call the cops, but I'm defending this woman. I start breathing because I know my sympathetic nervous. I'm comfortable with that. She looks at me. I go, "You okay?" She's like, "I'm okay." She gets in a car. She takes off. I just get the guy's number. I watch. He pulls out. 2 weeks later, my wife comes up to me. I don't know, randomly. A guy goes to the same gym as her and goes, "I want to thank you." I forgot to tell her because I calmed down. Didn't worry about it. I didn't talk about it after that. "Your husband saved our neighbor." She's like, "What do you do now?" She's like, "This crazy guy was stalking her." And she called for Mike's help. She goes, "We didn't know he was that crazy." She goes, "Oh, yeah, my husband's crazy." She goes, "I've never seen him crazy. I've only seen him sober, but I've heard stories. Like I've heard stories that back in the day in New York, he was crazy." Yeah. She goes, "Yeah, him and the dog tried to get this guy out of the car. Your husband was going to kill the guy. And then he just calmed down and walked off like nothing happened. It was kind of crazy." So my wife goes to me, "Hey, babe, can I chat to you?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Did you get in a fight a couple of weeks ago?" I'm like, "No, I didn't fight anymore." She goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, 100% sure. She goes, "Did you get in a fight on the street?" And I'm like, literally forgotten about it because I'm calm. I'm not going, "That guy," because right? I was like, "Babe, I'm being honest with you. I don't think I did." And she's like, "Well, a guy apparently was chasing a woman." I go, "Oh, yes, you're right. A woman called me to help her." And she's like, "Can you kind of," and I'm totally just literal. I'm like, jumped out of the car. "Can you help me?" Ran over the dog, was trying to get him out of the car. Fortunately for him, he didn't open the door. Me and the dog would have fucked him up. And I went on my way. And I'm just calm, right? And she's just like, yeah, you are an alcoholic and an addict. And she's like, "Well, apparently he's not going to stalk anyone again." Now, before I knew how to regulate my emotion, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I know how to be angry, but still be calm. Like in the sense of I know how to pace. I did martial arts for years, so it's like, it's okay to be angry. I was in the grocery store the other day. This guy was going ballistic on this poor girl. No one's doing anything. I stepped in. I said, "Dude, what's the problem?" He goes, "They moved the mac and cheese." I swear it's a true story. I go, "What?"
Oh,
"She's working the cash register." And I'm like, "She's not the manager. Call Ralph." Call the Stater Brothers. "What are you, a tough guy?" I'm like, when I get in arguments with people, I just repeat them. I go, "Did I say I was a tough guy?" He's like, "No, you know what I mean." "No, I don't. I'm not a tough guy. I just said that she's not the manager." "Yeah, well, this is insane." I know it's insane, but she's the wrong person. And then everyone kind of started laughing. He's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "You're yelling at the wrong person. I'll pay for your mac and cheese. She's a little girl. Don't threaten a little girl. I'll see you outside." "Okay, you'll see me outside. What are you going to do?" "What are you going to do?"
Right.
So I go outside and he's waiting. I go, "Dude, it's mac and cheese. I'm not going to jail over mac and cheese. You don't know me. You don't know how I'm wired."
Right.
I go, "I'm not that guy. I'm not going to fight you over mac and cheese." I go, "You willing to die or go to jail over mac and cheese? Right. Get in your car, dude. You can be angry all you want. I'm not engaging with you. Wow. You're not going to catch me. I'm fit. I'll dance around. I'll hit you with a couple of times. I'll call the cops. I'll be like, I'm defending this woman over mac and cheese." But I know how to set a boundary now and say, "Don't pick on that woman."
Yeah.
I won't let anyone get bullied. If you're bullying a woman or an old person, you'll see my fight mode. You will see a part of me. And even the club business years ago, I would get crazy on people that were like, some of the girls, like clients, would do weird shit to them.
Yeah.
That would bring out a side of me. But I don't sit there going, "That guy ruined my day now." Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
100%.
I'm like, yeah. So it's just, so what you do in your breath work is, I'll give you a breathing technique. It's called 4-7-8.
Okay.
You breathe in diaphragmatically for 4, you hold for 7, and you breathe out slowly for 8.
Okay.
And I'll send you one. I'll email you one. And that's for anyone listening. What you want to do is get used to belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, and slowing down your sympathetic nervous system, right? And then that's conscious breathing. Then just do awareness breathing, where just be curious. Yeah. When the thoughts come in, just be curious. That's interesting. Ooh, I'm ruminating here. That's interesting. I'm going to come back to my breath. Then when you go on the subway, because that's your trigger, what you want to do is start with some 4-7-8 breathing. Slow your sympathetic nervous system down. If someone's too close, just breathe and just give them space, give yourself space, and retrain yourself to that's your safe place. Like, I am going to find this spot on the subway where I'm not threatened. I'm calm. Because if you're not getting physically threatened, like really in violence, it's more just you want to be in a better place, which is, Subway's full of smelly people. I used to ride the Subway.
Yeah.
But it's not really threatening.
Yeah.
Right? So the good thing I tell people is when I'm triggered and the danger's gone, I go, am I in danger? No, calm down. Let it go.
Yeah.
The danger's gone. Use my sympathetic nervous system when I need it, and then re-regulate, because we have the most money in the world, this country, most abundant country in the world. Mm-hmm. We take more pain pills than any country in the world because we're living in stress hormones. We are always too far in the future, or we're bringing the past. We're not in the present.
Yes.
Now we plan for the future. We worry about the future, right? We're angry at the past. When we get into the future, we miss the future because we're not in the present.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So I tell people, prepare for the future by doing the right thing now. So if you're always prepared, because all we have, I just had a good friend of mine die, right? Last week we spoke, and a few days later he died, right? Sorry. Really sad, very close. Yeah, thank you. I was really close to him. And every time we get on the phone, I would always say, just be grateful. We never know, live every day like it's your last, because one day it will be, right? Yeah. So in reality, all I have is I'm on a podcast with you. And if information comes in and things don't go as I planned, I have to live in reality and take what the universe is giving me, slow down, just get into rest and digest, get out of my sympathetic nervous system and go, now, what is the next thing I can do rationally? Because I'm not in emotion. Yes, I was triggered. I'm afraid I'm not going to get what I want. I'm going to lose what I have. Yeah. I'm worried about the future, guilt and shame from the past. I'm grounded. What is the next logical thing I can do within my resources? Within my resources. Keep it simple, right? Okay, that's the next step. Am I okay right this second? Right? Yes. Okay. So maybe that's what it is right now. I just got to stay in the moments. Right?
Yeah.
And then by taking those small little steps, gradual steps, what happens is you look back and you go, I handled that okay. Next stress comes in. Wait, what happened last time? I remember if I just do the next right thing with my resources, I don't get comparison syndrome.
Yeah.
I don't look at someone else's timeline, right? My resources, because at the end of the day, all I have, look what people try to run away from. The fact is, when you face your creator alone.
Yeah, that's right.
You have a $7 billion apartment, $7 billion in the bank, like Steve Jobs said, money doesn't buy it.
Nope.
Nothing comes with you. So as long as I'm
that's right.
Right? As long as I'm okay in this whatever this is, this personality, Mike and Gary, that's it. I'm just going to be okay in this.
Yeah.
And the more you get into that practice of just being here, being real, being honest, being kind to myself, I'm kind to others. If I'm a fuckhead to myself, I'm a fuckhead to others.
Love it. Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And then it's just every day. And there's no right or wrong practice.
Right.
You just sit in it. Don't judge it. Just say every day, I'm going to breathe.
All of me and people I know that, quote unquote, aren't doing it right. We're constantly telling ourselves, oh, we're doing it wrong. I don't know how to do it. And then stop.
But there isn't those thing as doing it right or wrong anyway. Look,
I know. That's what I love.
This is the best thing I told someone. I was like, all right, so you get a piece of paper from a university. I go, yeah. I go, it gives you a degree in what? They're like, let's say it gives you a degree in law or whatever. I'm like, who made up the law? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, who made up the law? They're like, well, I go, man, correct? They're like, yeah. And I go, okay. Is there one law? They're like, what do you mean? I go, well, if you go state to state, there's different laws, right? So different men made up different laws, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Okay. All right. So there's rules. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, people make up rules, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, who made up the rules? They're like, I don't know. I said, man. I said, so man makes up the rules, break the rules. Observe the law that man made, because if you break the law, sometimes they put you behind bars, right? I said, but this is one thing that's made up by nature, universe, source energy, infinite intelligence, and God. Like what? I said, spiritual laws.
Mm.
You reap what you sow, cause and effect, law of synchronicity, law of karma, law of gravity, right? So
Love it.
look at the rules, break the rules, right? Make up your own rules. It's your life, it's your story. You get one shot at it. Fucking do what you want, but be smart. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Observe the laws, work within your talent and inclination, right? If you need to study and master a skill, you're recession proof. If you bring value with purpose to others, they pay for what they value, right? And abide by the spiritual principles. There's no right or wrong.
Beautiful.
It's your tapestry. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing I teach everyone. When you go to the art gallery, right? Or you put on the beats and you hear the song, or you watch a movie, what you see is the end product, the masterpiece.
Right.
You can't make a masterpiece unless you create a mess.
Love
Be
it.
prepared to fuck shit up. Life is messy. Enjoy the mess. Have a little fun. As long as you're kind, compassionate, empathetic, and a good person, just make a mess. And guess what? Stay in the mess long enough. There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Keep changing your approach, and you create these little masterpieces. And then life becomes fucking fun.
I love that, man. I love that.
Right?
That's amazing. Absolutely. Embrace the mess, right? I mean, that's such a
I
powerful.
live in the mess.
Yeah,
I get up and fuck shit up. I don't care. My son destroys the house. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I don't care. It's stuff. Fuck shit up. Destroy it. I'll buy new shit.
Yeah,
I have one kid. I spoil the shit out of him. But guess what? I teach him principles. I teach him discipline. He's kind. I go to the teacher. They're like, he's the most empathetic kid in the school. He remembers everyone's name. He's kind. He's command. Hey, he could be privileged, right? As long as he has purpose.
100%.
Right.
I'm so with you.
And brings value to other people. And he's kind and compassionate. And he knows that he's got things that other kids don't have. So therefore, he has to serve others.
Yeah, man.
I'll give you these things to serve others. I'll make your life easy, but don't take it easy on yourself, right? I do the hard work. I don't have fancy stuff. I had all the fancy stuff. It goes to my wife and kid.
Yeah.
I came from money. My family has money, but I gave away the money to be a transitional character. So I serve others. So I could live, if someone said, you know, if there was like trying to break me, can't break me. I could live in a studio apartment and live on rice and fucking tuna. I don't care. Like, I don't need shit because I know how to help people. So I totally do every day. Just help people.
I love that. And well, you're helping me. You're helping anyone that's listening to today. And Mike, you know, I knew I was going to really, really enjoy this, and you way overshot it, but I won't have to do this again with you, my man. Like,
oh, hey, at least you know I'm real. I'm not some guy that posts content. I did it because I love it. I'll teach anyone a trick right now. Here's a really important trick. So what they don't teach you in life is this. It doesn't matter what your resume is. It doesn't matter where you went to school is. It doesn't matter who your parent is. The only way that you really get anything and any success is the amount of service you do when no one's looking.
I love that.
And I'll give you an example. I go and give you a couple of examples.
Please.
I get a really big speaking opportunity.
Sure.
And the guy, I have it all set up, and the guy completely screws me on the deal. I don't worry about it. Every time something doesn't go, and I didn't do it wrong, you know what I do? Fuck it. I'll go to the grocery store. I talk to everyone in the grocery store, build them up. I always know if I'm having a rough day and I need to check in is if it says 16 items or 15 items or less, and I'm counting how many items the person's got, and I'm like, oh, they've got 18 items and ruining my day. That you're in a bad headspace,
yeah, right?
So there's a girl, and I'm in a good headspace, and she's trying to pay for her stuff, and she's about to walk out. I'm like, where are you going? She goes, I can't pay for my stuff. I was like, don't worry about it. So I was like, I'll pay for it. So I pay for her stuff, and she's just bursts out crying, and she's like, I'm like, well, how are you going to eat? She's like, I needed this today. I'm like, I could tell you needed it. You need to eat. And she's like, and I've had a bad day. I just lost a big deal, but I don't care. I don't live check by check. And I go, what's your name? She goes, Destiny. I said, no problem. I give her a hug. And I said, that was your destiny. I said, you don't owe me any money, but you know what you're not going to do? You're not going to be a dick. Be kind.
Pay it forward, yeah.
So I pay for my stuff and I go to my car and this guy follows me out. Really nice guy. Just well-dressed. And he's behind me and he's like, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. I said, why'd you do that? And I said, because you've got to eat. I can afford it. I work hard and I save my money.
Yeah.
And he's like, I work in a company and we're looking for a motivational speaker and we're having trouble. I said, how about this? I got a book in my car, read my book, and, maybe I'm the right guy. He hired me for the speaking gig. Lost a speaking gig, gave away, was of service to God and someone else.
Service, yeah.
Guy was standing behind me. Right.
Unbelievable.
Fast forward. I was working on a project and I was a little frustrated because a guy screwed me on a deal, and it was a contract for 6 months. And I was like, oh, and I did all these interventions for free.
Right.
And he said he was going to 10 interventions for free. And I didn't get paid. Oh. And then he tried to gaslight me, but it's okay. Whatever. So this person calls me to do this intervention and I know who they are. And they're like, I was like, you don't have to pay me. You don't have to pay me. Don't worry about it. I just know them. I was helping them out. And I was like, oh, do all this shit for free sometimes. But I'm like, don't be like that. Don't be that fucking guy.
Right.
So I was waiting on another contract and this guy was kind of messing me around. And then I had to make a decision to go see this guy. It's like a 45-minute drive from my house. And it's free to help this person out. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm just going to fucking do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to do it. And I'm about to get in the car and go. And this other person that I'm helping her calls me. She goes, hey, I'm producing this new show. And ironically, I was thinking of you and your name came up. Can I put you on camera for the network? I said, yeah, of course. And she goes, I think you're perfect. They're going to love you. I'm like, see? I go, can I be honest with you? She goes, yeah. I was like, I'm going to tell you straight. I wasn't going to come and visit your son today. And she goes, you don't have to do that. I know you do it genuinely. I said, no, I was joking. I was going to do it. I'm just telling you I'm going to always do it.
Right.
But I was like, and I go, I didn't expect you to try to hook me up with a network. I'm just honest. I just tell people the truth. That I'm going to do it. But I was like, I'll fucking see your son. Jesus, deal with your own shit. And she goes, that's why I love you. Just so honest. But I'm like, it was the truth. That's what I initially thought. Right. So what I try to tell people is that I do so much work behind the scenes, not because I expect anything. So what happens naturally, and this is what people don't understand, you may have to do 10 good deeds to get one thing go right. Mm-hmm. Everyone expects doing something and receiving something in the moment. That's not how the world works.
It goes. No, I agree.
You got to just do it because it's the right thing to do. And then over time, you've just done so much kind shit that that people and the world, once you let go of your expectation to receive, you get everything.
I love that. It's like someone sent me, and it's along the same lines, the spiritual sort of checklist, the spiritual checks and balances, right? Like, it's not like, hey man, but it's not what can you do for me? You just said it perfectly. There's another quote that someone called me out. They didn't like it, but I love it. It came from George Steinbrenner. He said, if, for the most part, I'll preface it, for the most part, but if you're doing something for someone and more than 2 people know about it, you may be doing it for the wrong reasons sometimes.
100%. That's right? The truth. No, I can't. Yeah, I know that what I do for people behind the scenes, no one ever finds out.
That's what I mean. It's the stuff, and I
don't tell anyone.
Who knows? Only you and your higher power. That's all.
It's just not. I've had enough. Yes, and God has given me enough incredible things. Like he's just granted me with so much stuff that if I just step out of the way, my plan is bullshit compared to what he gives me.
Yep.
And it's so much bigger. But every time I want it in my time, it's because I'm trying to prove something. Right. Once I realized there was nothing to prove, but my job was to improve the world and people's lives, my world improved.
I love that. I mean, Mike, like I said, I can keep going with you, but we're gonna have to do this again. So we're gonna have to do a part. I'm gonna have to hold you to a part two. A dose of
No problem.
positivity. Go get the book. I just ordered it while I'm online with you here. Where can we follow you too, Mike? I know you're on Instagram. Where can we follow
Instagram, the Mike_Diamond, however you THE. Some people say the accent.
Okay.
Underscore Diamond. If anyone is struggling, 1-855-643-6994. I do check my DMs. But if you call that number, there's someone that's 24/7 that answers. The new season of Intervention is airing now, but it's the Canadians season. I'll be on, I think, June 22nd and July 22nd, or June 24th. It's Mondays, 7 Central.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, I'm always, trying to post positive stuff and help people, and,
You are. Go give them a 5.
trying to be a good person.
Well, you're more than a good person. And, I'm grateful to have met you tonight and grateful that we're doing this. I'm grateful to know you. You helped me. I pray to God, let's help one person. I didn't know it was going to be me tonight, but you helped me. There's going to be plenty of others, man. We're going to put all your stuff on the show notes so everyone can follow you.
Thank you.
Go follow you. Go buy the book. Mike, thank you so much for your time tonight, bud.
Thank you, brother. You're awesome.
God bless you, brother.
Love you, mate. Thank you.
Love you back, man.
Thank you for tuning in to another powerful episode of the Begin Again podcast. We sincerely appreciate your time and support. We hope that today's conversation has ignited a spark within you, affirming that recovery is not only attainable, but can also be a wellspring of strength and resilience. Our ultimate goal is to make a difference in someone's life every single day. By sharing these stories of redemption, we strive to empower you and inspire you to unlock your fullest potential, facilitate positive transformations, and contribute to creating a better future for yourself, for your loved ones, and the world at large. If you know someone who could benefit from listening to our show, please share it with them. And if you resonate with our mission and feel compelled to do so, we would greatly appreciate your support through a 5-star review, following us on Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel, The Begin Again Podcast. The more positive reviews we receive and the wider our message spreads, the greater our collective ability to help others realize that change is possible in their own lives. Thank you once again for being a part of our community. May you be blessed on your own journey of personal growth and transformation.